the XP matchup, we've seen how highlighted XP laners can be. I mean, even from yesterday, right, with Takashi and Edward. And that could be something big here because if Fried Chicken we've seen him be a playmaker himself. So I just feel like there's a lot of boxes here for BurnX Flash to check off.
Yeah, so again, really need to hone in on what they want to do. I don't mind if Mobazane is playing the Akais as well as the Fredrins, because again, as soon as the ultimate is down from the Akai, then you can look for those bigger punishes. So now the real question for BurnX Flash, can you have information deniers? Natalia comes up into mind as well. Kadita, having the threat of existing is way more important than actually having to execute a play.
Very true. Something big and bursty, something deadly. And that is definitely something that I think the Valley would have a little trouble playing into. But we have seen some bans come onto the board. The Valley not changing too much up, banning out the Kasha, banning out the Fanny. We also see the Wan and the Glue from the side of the Falcon. So nothing too targeted just yet.
I'm feeling the Valley wants to pick the E first. Right? The Kaj is there. I'm wondering what. Okay, never mind.
Oh.
They want to ban it, right? Because I was gonna say if they don't, then they're looking to prioritize the carry. So now the ball's in BurnX Flash's court. Do you want to actually leave the carry open here? They took out the Wan already. They could ban it out, but if they don't, there's a high chance that it does go in the hands of the Valley.
No, that is very, very true. I think, for BurnX Flash, they could purposefully just let the carry through, only to have a potential counter pick later on. But even then, it's still rather risky for the later stages of the game. So personally, for me, I would just get rid of the carry, take that option away, so that people like D7 can actually start playing the game with harder tanks that like to initiate.
Oh, but they decide to ban out the Joy instead. So yes, high pick possibility with the carry here. There she goes. I know that voice anywhere.
I feel like a lot of people at this point know that voice. They're just like, yeah, that's carry locked in. So again, I feel like Gideon, off the top of your head, what's a great way to counter into this carry? Now you know that it's going to be shredding things down, and if it comes online, it's really hard to deal with.
Personally, for me, I'm thinking about people who can push the waves and really threaten her. Valentina is already a good choice. The Lapu Lapu, rather interesting. I would have preferred to see what the support pick was going to be. I feel like BurnX Flash is putting a lot of emphasis on seeing what the enemy is going to do first before locking in their support. But at the end of the day, when you're thinking about the mid lane matchup, yes, Valentina is going to be great, but then you have people like Farsa, for an example, even the Melissa as well. The Lilia is always so value in terms of just hard pushing waves and forcing the Valentina backwards. So then you force it into a 2v2. Then you have to force it to 3v3 if you need Fried Chicken to come on in for these neutral objectives. So how many resources do they have to pack in towards the mid lane for the side of the Valley?
I mean, that's a big question here. In a couple of seconds, we're going to see this. I'm wondering, too, if they do Benedetta into the Lapu Lapu pick. There's the Lolita, picked up again after a massive game. And like you guys mentioned, Farsa was a great choice, too. So, I mean, Farsa alone is already, the damage is obviously there with the Feathered Airstrike. But it is something that you will have to work against because you have Valentina across from you. So now you've got that potential of 2 Feathered Airstrikes going off. But maybe that's also something that they want. They want to either force you to take, is it the Feathered Airstrike? Do you take the Noon on Blast? Now you're playing with these options in the midst of the game where what works best for the situation. So that's another kind of process that has to be made here from BurnX Flash that could, again, make you trip over all that process.
There goes the Hayabusa. Before I talk about that, even more to dig into that Farsa a bit, I mean, the Lapu Lapu is like, back in the day, the sworn counter almost to dive in onto that. So not only do you have this possible steal from Valentina, you also have someone that heavily counters you now. D7 picking up this Hayabusa. We've seen good things from Hayabusa, but if Mobazane decides to once again go a bulkier jungle, he's gonna have to do a lot of work around to get to his targets.
I feel like he's gonna play a Kai this game, and it's gonna be so boring. Like, come on, Mobazane, go further. You can work with your team. Give me a Granger to pair up with this Farsa, and you and Hoon are gonna be shooting people down from halfway across the map.
It's dangerous though.
It's dangerous. You gotta live on the edge, man. It is the American dream here. You gotta push yourself to the limits to know what greatness truly is.
I feel like people are just, like when you see a Kai, it's one of those junglers where it's that meme, you know, where the meme is they poking it with a stick and saying do something. Basically, he does. He heavy spins, right? That's something. So Franco's going to be banned out here. Roaming options kind of dwindling a little bit, but there's still a lot available for Burnex Flash to at least complement what they have here. Now, even with the Hayabusa being locked into the jungle, it's something that you always have to be conscious of. I mean, typically we see Hayabusa Ling matchups, but I'm not betting on Mobazane to play the Ling, right? He probably will default to maybe something more utility-based, like you said. Aside from the Akai, we've seen Barrett's come up a lot. That's also why the Martis was banned here, because that is another kind of utility, very hard to catch jungle with the way that his kit works. So I'm wondering, does Burnex Flash use another ban to target the jungle here? It's going to be the Fredrin, so pretty much is.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that they're banning out these particular jungles. The Fredrin, of course, because again, Hayabusa is like, oh, I'm going to try and one-shot you. Oh, I'm taunted and I'm going to get one shot. Not the most fun in the world. Same thing goes for Martis, especially if you can land the Shura's Wrath. As soon as you get stunned, you're in a lot of trouble. And Super Shark on the Lolita is rather frustrating with his charge, so might as well minimize the problems as much as you can. But if we're talking about bans for the Valley against Burnex Flash, what they're missing right now, support options. They got rid of the Franco.
Your team is picking.
Wow, okay. They got rid of the Lunox. They got rid of the Lunox. I haven't seen Lunox in like, what, how many seasons already? 2, 3? But then again, I'm from Malaysia, so I see it randomly.
I've heard that Hessa has picked up the Lunox Stone Golden, like in past, not here. I've heard it is like a hot pick for him, right?
It's kind of the same.
Yeah. I mean, she's popped up, I feel like, a couple times here, but even more so, regardless, it's something that you don't expect to be banned, because even if it's picked up, you still have a way to work around it, aside from, you know, the burst that she brings. But meanwhile, the next pick for Burnex Flash is the Grok here. And we've seen this work, and it hasn't. But take a look at that heated quote, by the way, from Mobazane.
I'm looking at you, Trex. You got to do it in exactly the way me and Niso are looking at each other. We know exactly how you want you to say it.
Cambodia? Forget about it.
Yes! Yes! Okay, all right. That makes me happy. But now we see the Barat already locked in, as well as the Esmeralda.
She's back.
They heard you talking.
My blood is boiling. My blood is boiling. I need the high pressure blood pills. I can feel it rising up to my head right now. Is this the old meta? What are they looking to do? They have the Grok to cancel out the feathered airstrike, and now you have Esmeralda to take what shield?
I don't know. It does make sense on why they banned the Lunox, right? Like, to not bring this tankiness. I'm not saying it had any right mind forward, but there it is.
So you're saying
I don't know.
You're saying they're not right in their mind.
I mean, who is?
Hey man, I mean, to be fair, even
America.
if we're thinking about Lunox being the casual counter to the Esmeralda, there's still lane bullies as well. I mean, there's the Dyroth, there's the Dyroth. There's so many things that could be done, but it's going to be the final pick coming in for Burnex Flash. They go for the Claude. I like that very much. And honestly, the Valley probably foresaw that. They're not expecting the Irithel. They want something that goes in and out. And the only marksman that fits that build is Natan, as well as the Claude.
You know, so just looking at what Burnex Flash has, it's a very flashy kind of go in, go out composition here. And I feel like that kind of chaotic playstyle, exactly what they're known for. And if it's going to be too much, if it's too much fire to handle, if it's too hot to handle here for the Valley, this could be potentially the 3-game series that we're actually looking for here on the desk. And still, the Valley with having that Esmeralda too, I'm really interested to see if she still fits here in at least M4 in this current meta.
Look, I'm just tired of the Valley saying, all right, Basic, you're gonna create a really big backpack. We're all gonna help you lift it and eventually jump in it towards the end of the game. But it's time. It's gonna be game number 2 here at the lower brackets of M4. The Valley up against Burnex Flash. Game number 2.
Well, this is going to be a crucial game here for both these teams. And I know we're going to see it just kind of unfold, right? Starting in the jungle here. Again, Mobazane opting for this Barrett's pick, going to do pretty much the same game plan he had from previously. So if it's anyone to stop him, D7 actually playing this roam Grok here could work out really well for them to try his best to find picks early on, to find possibly even Mobazane and contest these objectives, because you don't want to give them that clean sweep they had in the previous match.
Oh, absolutely not. And, you know, that's when you see Fried Chicken actually taking full advantage of the situation. Yo, Lapu Lapu, you're not going to beat me until level 4. I have to put you as far down into the dirt as possible and let my team take the little wanders and let my team spread their influence through the mid lane.
I think something else that is going to be very important for the Valley is how Hoon rotates in these early stages on that Farza. Can they make some plays happen here? Can they stop Burnex Flash having this Hayabusa be aggressive? Because I think if the Valley can get to the mid or even the late game with at least a stalemate, they can definitely win out in this.
Well, I mean, Shima's level 4 here. Mobazane is as well. First turtle, though, still a little bit away. So poking back and forth, I mean, at this point, you just have both teams kind of waiting, right? Waiting for that objective. Now, still, I would say that given the team lineup for the Valley, the way they're going to fight around objectives is very strong, but still, it's going to be up to Burnex Flash to really kind of get in and get out. And if that just means Chima, you know, quad shadowing in there, getting the retribution off, and if that's the safest thing, it could be best case scenario.
Bonus welcome, tries to lock on, but Chima able to stop it. This could be bad for Mobazane, taking a lot of damage, gets stunned up, and ATM finds the kill for D7. Now, Fried Chicken and Shark trying to battle around this. They decide to back off, but first blood does go to the side of Burn.
Wait, what happened there? I thought that Daytona's welcome was gonna eat Chima, but then it didn't. Did he quad shadow out of the way, or did he
went into
him? He went into him. That is smart. That is smart. Lost in the chaos.
Nope, that's what they're known for, right? I mean, Burnex Flash does it really well, and as we were saying, we were kind of painting that picture. That chaos can be overwhelming here, right? The fire can be pretty hot, and just taking a look at the items, things kind of establishing here, almost 3 minutes in the game, they're still going to be able to play. It's a very minuscule gold lead for Burnex Flash, but still, big things that are going to come up here too is exactly this different dynamic with the Grok here, where you're going to be building more of that tank, you know, pretty much that tank roam Grok, not the damage that we're used to seeing.
Come in, Bahoon.
I
Able
mean,
to back off.
Yeah, they're gonna back off. I mean, they need to take their time. They don't want to get locked.
D7 gets the knock-up onto Hoon, and in comes ATM, locking onto Super Shark. The airstrike does come down, misses most of them, lands one, does a little bit of damage, but nobody goes down.
Beautiful defense. I mean, Hoon gets out of there with 5 wings, having to use that flicker, and now, I mean, for in the minds of Burnex Flash, they already punished Mobazane. He has to restack himself up to become a nice big dinosaur boy. But Shima, he is making sure he is trying to put pressure on that map. And the only profit that they got were 2 flickers, one from their playmaker, Super Shark, and as well as Hoon. So they're keeping in mind and telling you, I'm your ATM, get ready to jump on Hoon.
Again, I mean, you can find Hoon, you can try your best here for Burnex Flash, but still, you have that mobility kind of advantage. This is very finicky for them, especially with Chima on this Hayabusa. You've got Hessa going in with the BMI. Blazing Duet gets out. So I feel like that's a big challenge for the Valley here specifically. And on top of that, again, the dynamic changes with what ultimate CCAT takes, right? And what he decides to throw at the Valley here. Still, it's a very objective focused game for the Valley, and that's kind of your game plan the whole time, because if you're trying to fight Burnex Flash face to face here, you're gonna get your ankles broken basically at this point. So next turtle comes up here. We'll see if they find the positioning and the space that they need to take this next turtle.
I'm seeing that I'm your ATM is missing his ult. It looks like he may have tried to get into an altercation with Fried Chicken, but it seems like nothing came of it. And the same can be said. Shima, he's lost at least 50% of his HP. I don't think anything's going to be happening here. This is like a very awkward wet noodle fight.
Yeah, CCAT has taken that feathered airstrike though, so we need to keep our eyes open for that. And down it comes, trying to zone Hoon away. Mobazane is close to this turtle right now. Chima also trying to fight it out, but Fried Chicken takes out CCAT. Chima able to take the turtle though. Hessa now trying to move on. Hoon does fall down. Fried Chicken on the run along with Super Shark and Mobazane, but it seems like Burn Flash doesn't want to let this up. Mobazane now coming out with the Daytona's welcome. Locks on to D7. Chomp, chomp into the wall, and down goes D7. Shark force to use the flicker as the shadow comes in. Chima looks for it, can't find it, but still a fair trade for both teams.
Oh boy, I mean, I would still say that Burnex Flash still came up on top. A lot less battle spells being expanded, and now a big window for Burn X Flash to actually punish Fly Chicken now that he doesn't have his flicker. All he has is the Falling Star Moon to get out of tough situations, which can easily be dealt with Chima's OP Shadow Kill.
I mean, even taking a look at the items, it's still, again, it's pretty even across the board here. Still action.
Oh, Hoon with the feathered airstrike. Chima goes down. D7 does find the knockup onto Hoon, getting that stun for basic. Getting aggressive. ATM will fall. D7 forced to use a flicker, trying to get away, but now the Valley are starting to take control of this game.
Well, and with that, right, the minuscule gold lead that was in favor for Burn X Flash is gone here. And like you said, the backpack has started, right? It's going in the basic here. He's going to be able to grab that bottom turn on the bottom side. And still, they're working. They're putting pressure.
Most definitely D7 trying to keep them away. And one thing is, we were worried about that Esmeralda, but Fried Chicken is coming through.
Yep, he's doing a really good job. And especially, I'm pretty sure he's like maxed out his average by now. At this stage, he's traded so often, and this is the first time we're seeing it. Look at Hoon. He's absolutely just frustrating and pushing Burn back, but this could be the counter attack that we're looking for. D7, keep your eyes on him.
Yeah, Mobazane is very deep, but he doesn't want to let up just yet.
Oh.
Did he take it?
Yep.
He steals the purple buff. Chima takes a lot of damage, can't dash in like that anymore. It's becoming a little too risky.
That was that was a risky decision, but it ended up paying out for them. So this is the thing, right? We're seeing a very synergized the Valley, right? This is something that we didn't see so much of in the group stage. So whatever happened in the past few days, they figured things out, and now they're going to be battling for this turtle here. But still, Burn X Flash has taken 2 of them. Can they get this one here for the Valley?
It's definitely not going to be easy, but Mobazane may be able to do it. Back in the backside, though. Superstar with the flicker. Lands an Numen on blast. C-Cat taken out. I'm your ATM. Tries to land, but connects no one. No. Hoon does get stunned. D7 trying to do something, but Mobazane takes Turtle. A nice big hit. ATM goes down. D7 could be next. Fried Chicken doesn't want to let up. He's going to chase. He's bulky. He's tanky. He's under the tower, and down goes D7. Chima up against this orange buff. Back against the wall, Super Shark and Hoon want to try to find him, but he should be able to flicker away safely.
I mean, they might still go on the hunt here. They've got the information. Yeah, Chima, he's going to run out of places to go. Let's see if he can juke them out.
I think he may be able to, but it seems like the Valley keeping it disciplined. They don't want to waste any time. They want to get something out of this.
Well, I mean, Fried Chicken, he checked the common spot. He knows that there's the Pixel Brush, but it's too late. It was a 50-50 there, and therefore, not worth his time. Back up towards the top lane. And now, looking at Farsa, Hoon, he's got the 2 core items. He just needs a little bit of time to start scaling up. He's already dishing out so much damage.
Yeah, not only that too, but with Basic here now having that Wind of Nature available to him, or he's working on, he has the Corrosion Scythe here. That's going to be trouble, right? Still going to be working on the next core item, but still, you saw the recalls come out here. They're feeling confident. It is 4.2k gold ahead here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. It's only 9 minutes into the game. Burn X Flash could still make a play here. The question is, where do they make it? That's the thing. And again, C-Cat really hasn't been able to utilize this Valentina just yet.
Oh, Fly Chicken in a bit of trouble. They want to lock onto him. The tower does fall. But right now that Esmeralda is so tanky. Hoon gets found by D7. Mobazane, wait a second, conceal play. Nice stun onto D7. Daytona's welcome. Tries to lock on, but they still find him. Basic finally doing some damage. Numen on blast. No flicker to connect, so the Numen on blast doesn't find the stun just yet. Basic and Shark going to chip away at this lane, and I think the action is over.
Well, for now, for the time being, I mean, the fact that C-Cat was able to, sorry, not C-Cat, but D7 finding Hoon, this is a pretty good trade. However, topside is losing, topside tier 2 is already losing so much HP. It's basically free economy for the Valley. So if they want to get into that 5k gold lead and put Burn even further down, they can absolutely do so. And I think the Valley, they don't have to take the Lord now. They just need to keep putting up the pressure and choking out Chima.
Yeah, look at the way Zane is playing right now, just in their face. This is reminiscent to like Wise playing the Barats, jumping in there, even with the Esmeralda, very M3-esque right now.
Well, right now, total control here objectively. They get a turret. D7 going to check that bush, take a couple of hits here, but the fight for this Lord is going to ensue. Fried Chicken having a massive game so far on this Esmeralda, and they pursue it.
Most definitely Mobazane. He's got it down to about 30%. Does seem like a conceal play is going to come. D7 misses the wild charge. ATM misses the bravest fighter. Only gets a stun onto Super Shark. Tima comes in, but not in vain. Down goes D7. ATM may fall next. Basic on the chase. He finds it. That's a double. Hessa with the blazing duet, but forced to BMI out. White Chicken does get found by CCat, and Chima tries to look for it, so it's a 2-for-1 trade, but the Lord still goes to the Valley.
Oh man, Valley now with the 5K goalie is going to turn that into at least 7K deficit against Burn. You can see that Hessa is scaling up relatively quick with 3 items and a Malefic Roar, which helped him actually kill White Chicken towards the later half of that fight. But you have to admit that as of right now, D7, he has to use his Flicker to close that distance. He had a good angle, but he could have guaranteed a hit had he just flickered forward. He's greeding out on his battle spell.
Now the Lord is coming in. Zane and Shark trying to hold down the front side. Hoon does not have that feathered airstrike, so he's not going to be able to help this siege effort. Down goes the Lord. Not too much material for the side of the Valley.
So very disciplined, right? The Valley here, they got a nice, comfortable gold lead. They're going to be taking the resources as well from Burn X Flash. Meanwhile, you got Flied Chicken walking that wave on the bottom side, looking for another turret here, opening up the map further. Can Burn X Flash defend against this siege?
Ooh, there goes Hoon with the feathered airstrike. ATM taking a bit of damage. They are able to open up the map a bit. And here in a second, with White Chicken cutting this lane, that should be another free tier 2 tower.
Let's see whether, I mean, the outer turrets are basically gone at this point, and the Valley, they're very confident once they have this lead. They know that Burn can't really do too much about the situation, and D7 has to really be careful with his power of natures, because as soon as his immunity to crowd control disappears, the Valley will jump upon him. So I think at this stage of the game, the Valley, let the waves push on out. Come on out of the base, and let's get into a brawl.
And I mean, even looking at the items, like you mentioned, you know, with Hessa having those 3 core items, he's got the Demon Hunter Sword, he's got the Golden Staff, Malefic Roar here on this Claude, and also CCat had the Neuron Blast. Not sure if he's still holding on to it, but if they can get that set up, whether it's in the base defense or not, if they find 2-3 targets, it's overlapped with a great Blazing Duet Wild Charge combination. Burn X Flash isn't out of this, right? Despite that 5.7K gold lead for the Valley, they can set themselves up here for success, but what we've seen so far is the Valley not allowing that to happen. Here comes the conceal.
Possible conceal play. It might be in vain, though. CCat able to flicker away. Keep our eyes on Hessa, though, hiding out in this bush. D7 goes down. Hessa comes in with the Blazing Duet, but a nice Winter Truncheon from Hoon. Down goes ATM. Next will be Chima. Will has to get out of this. I don't think so. Forced to flicker.
Wow.
And he falls. That's a maniac for Basic. His first one in M4. Now they're going to try to close the distance here. Burn X Flash on the ropes.
Oh my lord, nothing gets past White Chicken. He saw that right at the very edge of his screen. The Blazing Duet, he foresaw it coming and immediately turned 180 around to deal with the problem. And now, this could be it.
This could definitely be it. The Numenon Blast does not connect, but they're going to be able to clear these waves. The Valley with the chokehold over Burn X Flash right now. Burn X Flash coming out of the base, though, trying to defend, and it looks like they will be able to do it. The Valley keeping it disciplined. They're going to go for this Lord and try to finish this off. But wait a second. Chima coming in. I'm your ATM with the bravest fighter. Gets a nice flicker. D7 comes in as well, but still not enough damage. Mobazane gonna get the Daytona's welcome. Burst him against the wall, and I'm your ATM will fall. Now, back to the Lord.
Oh my goodness. What's so unfortunate about this play is the fact that Burn had all the right ideas, executed as best as they can, but with an 8.7, 8.8K goal lead now, and they've already hit the 42, gone past the 42K mark. They're just literally one item away to making a difference in that fight.
I mean, it shows, right? It really shows in itemization for the Valley here, and that's what we see working so well for them. So they just secure themselves a Lord here. They're going to be getting ready for this Lord push. 10K gold ahead here. Burn X Flash is going to have a defense of a lifetime. And I'm not even sure if CCat has an ultimate just yet with IMU, but as you said, Gideon, the backpack in full force here for Basic, but it's not even just that. I feel like everybody's got their own pack here because Super Shark, look at him, he's massive. 0-0-12 on a Lolita again for this match. And Fly Chicken, the big question mark, does Esmeralda still work here? It obviously does. And he's such a good distraction. That's something that works great for Esmeralda, and they're playing around that here. Not to mention Mobazane is also a big, huge dinosaur, and now they get ready for this siege on the base.
Most definitely the Lord creeping its way in along with Mobazane. Keep our eyes on Hoon as he does drop that feathered airstrike with the flicker to bait out the Bravest Warrior. Basic gonna shred down Amir ATM, and this could be it. Down goes Chima, and down goes Burn X Flash. C-Cat, the last one standing. The Valley gonna bring out the recalls, because tonight the Valley will not burn. They will go forth as Burn X Flash is going home, sadly.
They have done it. The Valley continue their championship run from the lower brackets. They move on to deal with their next opponent. A breath of fresh air, but GG, well played. A 2-0 victory to the Valley, and our hearts go out to the representatives coming in from Cambodia, Burn X Flash.
Man, oh man, I'm sure there's some people in the chat right now type in the Valley dude, because that was a performance and everybody loves to see it. It's tough to see Burn X Flash here going home, but they put up a fight. They tried their best here, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough against the Valley.
Definitely a wonderful game from both players. Even from game 1 to game 2, Burn X Flash kept their composure. There was a lot of moments where I felt like they could have taken that back, but in game 2, the gold lead just became too much, and in the meta right now, that can spell victory.
It really does. It's so brutal, but they played so well. They had their time to come together. It's time that we throw to our analysts and break this down.
And tall, and they send the Khmer home. At your service, my name is Leo, joined here by Carrie and Barats. Now that's Mirko and LaFell. We're breaking down game number 2, the winning game to close up this series, which allows the Valley to keep going on through the lower brackets here at M4. The draft was key here in their victory over the Cambodian champions, and I gotta say, the Valley has grown so much. They've evolved. You would not expect Zane to just go ahead and pick up the Barats. That's it.
I mean, I did.
You called it.
I called it. Like, what we were saying is like, this is going to be a Barats game. Called it. But, okay, here's the thing. Before we actually go through the real analysis, while we see the Valley walking, White Chicken, was it really necessary to steal the Savage?
He denied basic.
Come on, dude.
Why did you steal the Savage?
Why'd you steal the Savage?
Why'd you steal the Savage,
Basic,
man?
you want that Savage, right? He wants the
He's
Savage.
doing the sad face. Come on, dude. Valley, dude.
We're gonna have to
The
talk
Valley
about
did.
it. We're
They
gonna have to
gotta
talk
talk
about it
about it.
later on. But yeah, against Burn X Flash, who obviously learned a lot from game 1, right? Like they picked up on it, and I think the desk put it so well. Their planning is amazing. Execution, they did their best. But the Valley seemed to always be a step ahead.
Again, right, it started from the draft, and this time around, I think we could all agree that the draft was absolutely amazing. First pick and carry, there was no question about that. It was a good pick, even in the first draft, but then they went straight on for a flex pick, and the only questionable thing in the first phase for me was the Lolita, because again, it's very easily canceled out. A Numenon Blast, very easy to just negate that, especially considering how much CC Burn had.
Honestly, with this composition, I feel like one of the more important things we got to discuss is actually the gold momentum, because as a Hayabusa, actually any assassin hero, kind of except for the Ling, is that you need some kind of advantage in terms of gold, like EXP or anything, because he could not deal the damage. Like, Barats is already tanky as he is, and if the Hayabusa is losing by a lot, they're losing their win condition.
That's not even bringing up the fact that White Chicken pulled out a classic. He, again, employed the services of one of the greatest XP laners, the hero that has haunted that lane for the longest time, the Esmeralda.
Yeah, I want to talk about Esmeralda itemization because it's a small change, but the Brute Force Breastplate now gives cooldown. So it brings up more flexibility for the Esmeralda because you want a lot of cooldown. You want to maximize the amount of cooldown that you have, but you still want to make sure that you can actually tank a lot of damage. So I kind of feel like if more time was actually given to try this Brute Force Breastplate with a lot of other heroes, we could have potentially seen a lot more things. And I kind of feel like this particular item is why like the heroes like the Lapu Lapu is starting to be more popular.
Well, you're talking about Esmeralda. I'll talk about the man who got the Maniac, right? Basic, the itemization, I think from this man is phenomenal, right? It's a basic itemization from him, but it works so well because thing is, if you understand the basics, you're gonna be able to itemize great. Game 1 went for defensive items. Athena's shield first defensive item, then he went on to the Wind of Nature. Here, you can see he doesn't care about that magic damage because he understands the assignment. He understands that most of the damage coming onto him is going to be everyone who can dive, and everyone is physical.
Yep, we've seen multiple times in this 16-minute bout that Basic was not afraid to flicker forward. Basic was not afraid to dash forward, and I think that's why he built the Thunder Belt. He knows that of all the dudes that can get to him, again, I'm your ATM, D7, maybe C-Cat if he tries to set up a Aluminum Blast, he would face that threat with just violence.
Here's the thing, he built the Wind of Nature's second item because later in the highlights where we will see few attempts were done by Burning Splash trying to shut down the carry very, very early on, but even if you use the Ogi Shadow kill, not only did it not connect, but Basic had a Wind of Nature, so even if it does connect, it kind of doesn't matter.
And honestly, I want to give massive props to the Forgotten One here. 17 total assists. We haven't been mentioning his name a lot, but Super Shark. In 2 games, he really understood what to do. Because in this composition battle, for both of the styles, both of the teams, they understand that, again, it's all about proactivity. Whoever engages first will win. And the Lolita did not get canceled at all.
And it's not so weird to assume that maybe our MVP might be that Lolita, might be Super Shark, but we're about to find out for sure now.
Basic.
We're awarding it over to Mr. Peter Bryce himself. It's Basic, of course. Game 1, he had some tendencies. Game 2, I think he was warmed up enough. I mean, how often you get a 12:05 in the world stage?
2 Maniacs.
2 Maniacs, dude. 2 Maniacs.
Close to a Savage.
I mean, like, here's the thing. Super Shark, like, he really did, as the popular song would say, he's Shark do-do, do-do, do-do. But it was not enough to steal the MVP from Basic, because if I'm not mistaken, he didn't even die. But Basic, he didn't die as well, and he got a lot of damage down. He has the highest amount of gold. And again, you've been talking about the itemization. Love this guy. I kind of feel like in the group stages, a lot of criticism was going towards him. I guess not anymore.
No, it just shows how good he is, right? A lot of criticism sent over to Basic. I saw so many hate comments over to him, but he used that criticism to build and to just improve so much. You could tell that this man has put in the work, man. Look at how active he is.
That's the mid game, all right? We're looking at 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and here it's so evident that off the back of his roamer, off the back of his mid laner, Super Shark and Hoon, he's able to find these opportunities to do more for the Valley. And again, the 2 kinds of MVPs we have, setup and payoff. This is a clear example of a payoff MVP.
I mean, would it really be surprising for him to have that much gold when he's basically stealing every single resource Burning Splash has?
Basically, he played well. Well, no, he played great in this game. And you can see, again, right, in these team fights, there were a lot of it in the first game where Burning Splash were actually able to find the better skirmishes. Why? Because the Valley has used most of their resources onto the main objective for them, which is the neutral objective. And that's the reason, right here, you can see just a difference in mindset, I believe, for both of the, or for all the players. Some of the members from Team Valley wanted to fight, the others just wanted to secure the Lord. But finally, when they understood what they wanted to do, they had one voice, and it's to go in. When they did that, you could see that they just did wonders.
Yes, this is game number 1. We're moving over to game number 2, where the Valley had, I would say they have the number of Burning Splash, because in this game, I want to talk about White Chica because he's popping on, bringing up that Esmeralda. He's really pushing everyone away. And look at the Hayabusa. It's not like he didn't try. He tried so many times, but every single time he goes in, he dies. And Basic is so fast to be very, very aggressive. The moment he sees someone tries to attack him, he will attack back. I kind of feel like that is one of the hardest things for Burning Splash to do because it's so hard to catch the Valley off guard. We've seen the Grok using the Conceal, trying to catch anyone. He really doesn't care. But look at this, Maniac over Maniac. Basic is too fat. Basic is doing too much damage.
Watch it. White Chicken again. We got to relive it, right? That final kill, that savage steal.
Could have sworn that he did it on purpose. He looked at Basic. I could have sworn he looked at Basic, much like this, said, no, not today.